called macular degeneration. Very young, not supposed to happen to me at that age. So one day I woke up and instead of seeing a straight line, I used to see a wavy line like this. So what is going on, So then I went to all the doctors. They said, no, there's something problem in your macula, this, that, and this is about 15 or 20 years ago. But now, see, what happens is, so if I close this eye, I just see a blur. And with this eye, it's perfect. But both eyes, it's perfect. So what is happening is, this eye is sending a signal, blurred signal. This eye is sending a clear signal. And the brain somehow is figuring out that this is not right and this is right, and it's doing it. And I've been going on for 20 years like this. It's scary, something may happen to me. That's another reason I don't want to get into any trouble, because if I lose my eyesight, then I'll be dead. It'll be very difficult, rather. So we have a system which is, designed for flawless working throughout life. This is very important to understand. God has not made a defective mechanism. I mean, you go buy some stuff from China ka maal hai, that it breaks, you open it to the packet, it breaks. 1 week, 1 month is gone. God does not make China ka maal hai. God makes German or Japanese, I don't know, whatever it is, topmost quality. It's amazing. I mean, it's meant for lifetime, flawless performance. And there is so much excess capacity in the body. You have kidneys, one kidney fails, you can live on another. Liver, 70% of it is gone, you can still survive. Yesterday's paper, there was a story, I don't know if you heard, one guy had a liver failure. His 2 children gave half of their liver and they stitched it together and everything. So 2 children are going to survive with, half the liver. If you have blockage in the arteries, 70% blockage, you still won't know. With 30%, it is still, you can perform a normal life. So that much excess capacity is there. And still we are abusing it, and still we are, so the amount of, harm we are doing, probably unknowingly or knowingly, I don't know, some of it knowingly, some of it unknowingly, is tremendous. So this system, which is designed for flawless working throughout the entire life, which has got so much of excess capacity, still we are causing it to break down halfway. So we're going to see in this talk, that, provided we give the body what it needs, and we don't give it what it doesn't need, it can really perform flawlessly throughout life. So, but the $1 million question is, so what does it need? And this is common sense. I mean, it needs food, needs air, water, a lot of common stuff. I won't go on that. This particular presentation today, we'll talk about food. This is what the vegan diet and all this is all about. So, what kind of food does the body need? So, let's look at a car first. We have a fancy car, a Volkswagen or whatever. See. What is it? Whatever, Golf. I don't know. I'm not a car expert. I'll take your word for it. So this fancy car, you buy it, it's supposed to give, 100 miles an hour or whatever it is, so fast it goes 200 kilometers, beautiful drive, smooth drive. After 1 week after buying it, you go back to the garage and say, look, there's a big problem here. This car doesn't start, and it starts after 20 tries, and afterwards it stops after 2 minutes. And it goes, it makes an awful noise, it rattles, things break down, it doesn't give a mileage. Very parts and components are failing. A lot of problems, he's saying. So the car guy asks the mechanic, so what fuel are you putting in this? He says, I'm putting kerosene. Right? He says, hey, you idiot, this is a car which runs on 93 octane or whatever, unleaded fuel. Yeah. This is what you're supposed to put in it. You put the wrong fuel, obviously everything's going to fall apart. So what do I do, he says? Well, change the fuel. Give the right fuel. So he puts the proper fuel and boom, like magic, everything is working properly again. The mileage is up, the car lasts beautifully, the drive is smooth, the pickup is there, everything is fine. So, if you extend the same analogy to the human body, what is the fuel that our body is meant to have? And what are we putting into it? Are we putting the right fuel? If we are, then it should work flawlessly. If we are not, then we are likely to end up in all kinds of problems. So, what is the right food? That's a question that we need to ask ourselves. What is the correct food that we should actually have? So, let's look at it from different angles. Okay. So, there are a few of the angles I'll look at. The anatomical angle, nutritional angle, and psychological angle. So let's start with the anatomical angle. I mean, what is the human body that we have made, been designed to handle? So if you start from the top and go all the way, up to the end of the body, you will see. For example, we can start with the teeth. Okay? If you look at a carnivorous animal, the canines are extremely prominent. They are meant for tearing flesh. We do have canines, but they are not like, pointing out like this, like that. We do have canines. If you look at jaws, for example, our jaws move sideways and up and down. It's meant for grinding of carbohydrates. A canine's jaws move only up and down, meant for tearing flesh. If you look at saliva, our saliva has got talin. It's an enzyme which is alkaline in nature for digestion of carbohydrates, whereas a carnivore does not have that because it's mostly eating meat, protein. If you look at the acid in the stomach for digestion, that of a carnivore is much, much stronger, 5-10 times stronger than what we have. So their systems are designed. If you even look at the digestive system, a carnivore's digestive system is extremely simple. It's hardly 3 to 5 times the length of the body. It's designed for rapid expulsion of food that putrefies fast. If you look at the human intestine, it is 10 to 12 times the length of the human body. It is meant to extract the maximum nutrients out of the food, extract all the fluid out of it. So it is designed that way. So all these things I can go on and on. Carnivores have night vision, we have got day vision, we have got color vision, they have got there are so many things. But all the indications seem to be whatever it is, we are not meant to live on a exclusively or a largely even carnivorous diet. If you have one chicken once in a while, maybe it won't kill you. Maybe your body, because the body has got a lot of tolerance. It can have a wide range. So once in a while you do something, that's what won't kill you. But what you do day in and day out, that's what the problem is. But anatomically, it seems to indicate that this kind of a diet is not suitable for us. Let's look at it from a nutritional point of view. What kind of food do we need? Primarily, the food is a fuel for us. Once we have grown up, etc., we're not going to grow anymore. So basically, what we need food for is to run ourselves, for our whole body to work, for our blood to flow, for the heart to beat, for the lungs to work. It needs fuel, energy. Okay, so energy is required, and energy comes from basically carbohydrates. So we need to have food which is, in fact, there are different theories, but somewhere around 80-85% of our diet should comprise of carbohydrates. So because that's what it's a fuel for our body. It's what we need to run the body. So high carbohydrate food. What is high carbohydrate food? We look at a lot of plant-based foods, Indian ones. Out of 100 grams, you see what is the percentage of carbohydrate? Extremely high. So this is another indication to us that our body needs a lot of carbohydrates for functioning, and these are the kind of foods that are high in carbohydrate. That is one aspect. Another aspect is our body is 60 to 70% water. So we need, our brain is I think 90% water if I'm not mistaken. So we need foods that are rich in water. So if you look at all the fruits and all the vegetables, the percentage of water is 84. You can see this column over here. 84, 86, 74, 85, 80, 81, 90, blah, 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 blah. If you look at this side, again, extremely high. So 70, 80, 90% of fruits and vegetables is water. So this is the water that our body needs. The body can use this water. And this is another trick for people who want to lose weight. If you take 100 grams of an apple, 80 grams, where is an apple? Is an apple there? Yeah. 84 grams of it is water, which is 0 calorie. Only 16 grams has got whatever, and there also some fiber there, which is again 0 calorie. So maybe 12 grams or 13 grams has got actual calorific content. So if you take 100 grams of meat, there's a very little water in there, and it's mostly calorie. We'll come to that a little later. So, but basically this kind of food is water rich, which is what our body is like, so much of water we need. This is another indication. Another thing is fiber. Fiber is extremely important for our diet. There are two kinds of fiber. There's soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Now, soluble fiber is, it helps you to lower the cholesterol levels. It controls the blood sugar. What happens is, supposing you have an apple, it's got sugar in it, or a mango. But along with that apple or mango, there's a lot of fiber. So when you eat that, the fiber slows the absorption of the sugar into your body. So it controls it. Whereas if you have, straight away a Coca-Cola or something, you get up and your blood sugar shoots up. But if you have an apple, it will not shoot up like that. So soluble fiber helps to lower cholesterol, control blood sugar, and insoluble fiber prevents constipation. And it helps to clear the digestive tract, everything. In fact, those people who have got constipation, very often they'll be asked to take some isabgol or something, which is rice husk. But basically you don't need to have rice husk. You can just have food which is rich in fiber. And what kind of food is rich in fiber? You can see all the vegetables are there. This is a serving size. Say half a cup of asparagus. There's 2.8 grams of total fiber, out of which 1.7 is soluble and 1.1 is insoluble. So it doesn't matter, but you can see they've all got different contents of fiber, different vegetables, if you see, fruits, if you see whole grains, whole wheat breads, cereals, all a lot of fiber. And if you look at animal products, how much fiber do they have? Is 0. There is no fiber in animal products, 0. So that is why a lot of people who are having a diet predominantly with animal have a lot of stomach problems. In fact, eventually, initially started with constipation, but later on because the improper elimination. You see, when we eat our food, the body uses it, metabolizes it, and a lot of waste products are produced. So these need to be eliminated. And the fiber is what helps push the whole thing through the digestive system. If you don't have fiber, it gets stuck inside, and eventually it putrefies, rots, toxins, and finally end up with colon cancer, stuff like that. In fact, the American Cancer Institute has given very clear directives I can share with you afterwards. You know, if you want to avoid cancer, then have a diet which is rich in fruits and vegetables and which is low in red meats. I can give you a copy of that. It's an official publication, not what I'm saying. And if you look at vitamins and minerals, again, something we need. Fruits and vegetables, needless to say, are full of this stuff. So if you have the top 10 fruits, vitamin A, vitamin C, fiber, folacin. And the last thing is important. The gentleman asked not about aging, right? So aging, one of the theories of aging is it is caused by free radicals. A lot of free radicals are attacking us all over, and that's what goes down inside our bodies and breaks down our bodies and makes us age. So this is actually oxygen radical absorbance capacity, ORAC, which is the antioxidant capacity of food. Okay, when you have food rich in antioxidants, it helps to combat all those free radicals which then are not able to do so much damage anymore. So, if you want to be like, take care of, food which doesn't help you to age, then here, these are the foods. Per 100 grams, these are the units that they have, extremely high, So look at strawberries, for example, or look at even cranberries. These are all the power foods if you want anti-aging, And even generally, whatever. If you look at vegetables, same thing, extremely high in all these. And these are all, if you see at the bottom, these are all, statistics. Where is it from? Iowa State University. A lot of universities, Harvard University, Iowa, they all do studies on this thing. I mean, these are done by medical. But these people collate all of it and produce data. So all the data, wherever I'm picking up, the reference is given below. It's scientifically. So this is the kind of food we need, which is high in carbohydrate, high in water, high in fiber, high in vitamins, high in minerals. This is what food we need to run our bodies. And what food we don't need? We don't need food which is rich in fats. Little bit fat is required, yes. But too much of fat, cholesterol, and calories, food which is this kind, we don't need. And what is the food that meets this criterion? On this slide. As you can say 37%, 23% percentage calories fat, and all the cholesterol they have. And these are plant products, like beans and broccoli and stuff like that. The percentage of calories from fat is 4 and 11 compared to 37 and 23, and the cholesterol is all 0. So that's a very important point to note, that all plant products have got 0 cholesterol. Unless you take, say, coconut oil or something, it still doesn't have cholesterol, it encourages your body to make more cholesterol. So if you take a whole plant product, anything, it does not have any cholesterol. Even potatoes or onions or whatever it is, there's no cholesterol. In fact, everybody knows that cholesterol is a cause of buildup of plaque in the arteries, and building up of plaque in the arteries makes the arteries narrower and narrower. That increases blood pressure. Finally, when the artery completely closes, you get a heart attack, stroke, whatever. So all this extra cholesterol, it comes either our body makes its own cholesterol, or you take from outside. And take from outside, it's only there in animal products. Our body makes its own cholesterol. We all need cholesterol. Cholesterol is needed in every cell of our body. But we need the cholesterol that we make. If we take cholesterol from outside sources, that adds to the load, and finally, it becomes too much and we end up in all kind of problems. And if you look at calorific content, as I discussed earlier, if you take 100 grams of apple, it's 47 calories, and 100 grams of beef, it's 252 calories. So you eat the same amount of food, And on top of that, the apple has got fiber, which will fill you up. It's got no fiber, so you can eat more of it. Right? So you're going to put on weight. So if people want to lose weight, it's very clear. Certain kind of foods are not going to be very full to you. So we look at the anatomical aspect, the jaws, the digestive system, the teeth, the vision, the saliva, the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Look at the nutritional factors, whether it is high water content, is high carbohydrate content, nutrient rich, vitamins, minerals, fiber. And we looked at, what we don't need, high cholesterol, high fat, high calorie. And let's look at the psychological aspects. Here, if you see simply, let's look at a small child, you take him or her to a garden, and show her all this, beautiful apple tree with all these apples on the ground. What do you think the child is going to do? Pick up the apple and eat it.